Well, here we are. Everybody's always wondered about this Cadillac. Um, just got done with MPK this year and already started trying to fix some of the little things, get ready for what comes next. But been a lot of videos taken of it, pictures taken of it, but I don't think we've ever actually done a good walk around of this thing and had a little explanation of why it got started, how it got started, and why we did some of the things we did. So with that, we're gonna get after this Cadillac. Everybody asked me about the truck, where the truck's at, why am I not running the truck anymore? Truth be known, at the end of season 3, at the end of season 2, before the start of season 3, they told me that the truck wouldn't be legal for season 3. So kept asking why, what I could do. Nothing I could do. Didn't matter what I did to change it. They wanted something that was more stock appearing, was what their final words were. So my words to them was, be careful what you wish for. So I started looking at different options of things to build. Looked at like 68 to 72 Novas were good, about trying to set real low. Would clear a 36-inch tire. And looked at that. My MO's been, I always wanted to do something different. Well, there's a few guys out there who've got some Novas. Everybody's got a Camaro or a Mustang. So it was just kind of like the S10 when I did it. I wanted to do something a little different. So I wasn't a big CTS fan. I mean, they're badass as a driver, daily driver, but I just don't like them as a race car. I don't like the quarter panels on them, stuff like that. So I started looking at the ATS-V. They're a little smaller car, a little narrower, shorter roof line, 4 inches shorter in wheelbase. So that's what I settled on. They'll still take a big tire. I wanted something that would set low, didn't look like it was a four-wheel drive. So that's where I headed with it. So to get the whole thing started, I bought a flood car that came out of Houston, bought it out of OKC of all places, and proceeded to start to put this thing together. But in doing so, I told myself I didn't have the resources or the time to do molds for a front end and doors for one of these, and nobody has ever done an ATS-V that I'm aware of. So I was going to be stuck with all the factory body panels, factory doors, everything else. So I trimmed everything down as light as I could get it. These things have a factory carbon fiber hood on it. Had to buy all new front end, fenders, everything, bumpers, grills, everything for a V car, because this was an original V. And so put everything together that way, but I wanted to do it. I didn't want to use any Zeus fasteners. I did not want to use any window screws, because when they threw out the whole stock appearing fiasco with me, then I wanted to go out and prove a point. So in doing that, we went in and just like the front end, there's no Zeus's on it. It's all, I mean, this is steel, and the hood's carbon, like I said, which is original carbon piece, but I attached it with, these are actually seatbelt latches out of a GM car, and they're down here underneath. That's what holds the hood on and the front end. But that was part of no Zeus fasteners. Same that way with the windows. We went into the window situation, and I'd done a similar thing with the S10 when I did it, and I actually used, I mean, this is Lexan from Optic Armor, and we went ahead and trimmed it out in black, which is normal, but everybody else has got window screws in it. So when I done the S10, once again, I didn't want that look, so this has a factory OEM urethane underneath it, just like they glue the original glass in with. So I knew this would work, and I knew it would work on the front window and back window. What I was concerned about was the door windows, and so we went ahead and did a regular window frame, but instead of attaching it with screws and tabs as would be normal, I actually went in and we took this thing and glued it on here with urethane. So it's held up real well. I've been real happy with it as far as how that went. I wanted to keep the single turbo that I ran in season 2 in the truck. It's got 140 millimeter Hartz turbo on it. I've been real satisfied with the performance of that. So when I built the car, it still had, I took the 481 out of the truck and put it in here with the big single. Now it's got a Proline 480, or a Proline Hemi in it that I put in this year. So with that being said, like I said, it started out with a 481, same combination with the single that what the truck had in it that I did so well in season 2 with. So it was a proven combination. The car's a little bit shorter wheelbase than the S10 by 5 inches, but still proven combination. But back to the body and things again, this is where the latches are for the front end that I was just showing you a minute ago. So it slides on, lays on here, slides in, clips in. It's got alignment pins that align up the front end, and then a track down here that the lower fender sits in. So you just put everything on it, give it a push back, and it latches. But same thing came to the doors. I thought, well, how's this going to work out with having a big old steel door and not being able to do anything with it? Well, these doors, compared to like an early Camaro, are 7 inches longer. So the doors open real wide. You can get to the transmission, get the transmission in and out of the car without having to take the door off. Most everybody's carbon doors in the front end come off and the doors come off. But I stripped all these doors down as light as I could get them. They literally weigh 22 pounds without the glass in them, without the Lexan in them. And that's with the factory hinges, the factory stops, everything. But it has all the factory door stops on it. I mean, the door opens and closes like a factory door. It's got all the original windows seals in it. Everything is still the factory stuff. So the door shuts like it should, or like it was built to shut, and which has made it nice. It's made it different than everybody else's cars, but in keeping with the whole street car aspect of things, I guess. A lot of the guys don't run dashes. I wanted to put a dash in the car just to make it look like more of a finished product, even though we've got exposed transmission. I always said that the day that I built a car for myself that I couldn't run down the corner and put pump gas in it, I'd have a race car. So here we go. I own a race car, but it's been good. I really like the finished product. Once again, we really strive hard on how we build everything as far as ease of maintenance. This thing's been no different. We tried to make everything where, you know, you can get the heads off in a car, which is not uncommon, but the way I do the fuel cells, we build all these, we radius all the edges, and it looks like a plastic tank, but it's actually an aluminum tank that we build at the shop. But I put the tanks up high enough, we don't have to run a primer pump if we don't want to on most of the stuff we do. Just a bunch of little things. Headers are easy to get to, bolts, nuts, all that stuff. I just try and make it where it's easy. Same thing with the transmission. And I'll show you on a future video, but we actually run a hook on the transmission and a slide on it, where one guy can just pick this, unhook everything, converter, transmission, pick this thing up, slide it back, and service the converter without ever having to get underneath, get a jack under it, worry about mashing your fingers, anything else. Same thing, tunnel all comes out super easy. Floor doesn't Zeus in, but with 4 Zeus's, everything slides into a track. So everything we do is try to make things easier to service and maintenance. And funny as it sounds, I don't know if you can see it from the camera angle right now, but just looking in the car, it had to make me laugh. The hole over there in the lateral head support over there, everybody laughs about my peephole, and which is just what it is. That I cut that in there after we got the car done because I'm so used to staging the car myself, and I want to know where the guy in the other lane's at. Well, if I'm in the left lane, I can see over to the right lane easy enough. I can see around, but the left side I could never see. So I cut that hole in there, and the lateral head support still does what it needs to do, but yet now I can see what the guy's doing in the left lane. I know if he's going to stage, I don't need anybody out in front of the car telling me, hey, it's time to go in or anything else. So just a lot of things we've done to make things more serviceable. The deck lid has went through some hard times this summer. Went through a little bit of repositioning the rear window / deck lid earlier. That's why some of this stuff's a little beat up from all the runs and the tire shake this summer. But same thing, there's no Zeus's on the deck lid. Got a couple of bolts underneath. It unbolts, slides up and off of there, and one of the looks that I wanted with this car is to try and keep it from looking like just another race car with all the Zeus fasteners and window screws. But it's got all factory body panels. As far as I know, the only car in NPK like that. Probably one of the few cars in the country that runs this fast that has all the factory body panels and factory dimensions to it. So that's kind of the short of it. It's got a Rossler Turbo 400 in it. It has a Pro Torque converter in it. And behind that Proline Hemi now. And then has a strange modular rear end housing with a Carmax intersection. Weld wheels. PST driveline. Carbon shaft in it. So just pretty much standard wear Pro Mod artillery, which is pretty much all the cars in NPK anymore. You know, they're a Pro Mod car with steel roof and quarters on them. But once again, this thing is one of the few that has all the factory body panels on it, whether that's good or bad. The car is 2750 with me in it, no ballast in it. So it's a little heavy, 100 pounds heavy for what my class has to weigh right now. They changed the rules this last year, and that took 100 pounds off of us, so with this particular combination. So I can't quite get the weight. If I had, once again, carbon doors and carbon front end, then I could probably get there. But it is what it is, and we're going to get this thing cleaned up for next year and be ready again.